For more, let's bring in Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, always such a pleasure to see you. So much of the president's agenda hinges on getting the big, beautiful bill done out of the House and then, of course, out of the Senate, done hopefully by July 4th. Is patience wearing thin among your colleagues with this trade war battle fight? And is it the progress of the trade fight, is that holding back or speeding up movement on this big, beautiful bill, Senator?
Well, first of all, I'm in President Trump's corner in terms of cheering that he wins these trade negotiations. I don't want to undermine his negotiating strategy or reduce his leverage. But I will say that I'm hearing an awful lot from manufacturers in Wisconsin. If this thing drags on, if the tariffs remain high, their businesses will be put out of business. One good piece of economic news with the recent numbers, business investment was up 9.8%. President Trump and his team has to be very concerned if this trade war continues, if the uncertainty and instability continues, that investment is going to fall off the cliff. And that'd be very bad for America. So again, this is a bold, but I think it's a reasonably high-risk strategy. I'm hoping that he succeeds, but the sooner he succeeds, the sooner we can bring certainty and stability to the American economy, the better.
What would success look like? Because you're saying if he succeeds, that'd be great. We need more stability and certainty. In your mind, paint a picture for us of success.
Well, it is fair, free and fair reciprocal trade. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that we have offshored many products that are crucial for our national security. Figuring out a strategy for reshoring those is important. I don't think it's important to be bringing back high labor content product. That's gone, and quite honestly, we don't have the workers to produce high labor content products. So we should be producing high value-added content. So you want a smart strategy for reshoring the critical products, things like high-end semiconductors, pharmaceutical precursors, the active pharmaceutical ingredients, rare earth minerals. I mean, there's a list of things that we need to concentrate on that we have to reshore.
Senator, the economy did contract slightly in the first quarter, but much of that was because imports were kind of pulled forward, surged 41.3% annualized, doesn't count toward GDP, and government spending decreased. That's amazing. However, to the big, beautiful bill, let's talk about spending cuts. Kim Strassel just wrote a piece, and I just love the headline, "Spend, Baby, Spend, the real sticking point in the GOP reconciliation bill. Republicans won't cut anything." But she gives you a shout out as one of the few one of the few cutters who still stand up for limited government, and how you are a, quote, fiscal warrior who keeps pushing for a GOP budget review panel. Is there the willingness to cut anything, even close to $1.5 trillion, which is in the framework passed by the House?
Well, I'm getting highly concerned. Unfortunately, we have big spenders in our party as well. And let's face it, the American public is not exactly clamoring for fiscal conservatism. Everybody likes the free federal money. They don't realize that this massive deficit spending is why their dollar has devalued dramatically over the decades. So, from my standpoint, the root cause of our problems literally is the size, scope, and cost of government. We need to reduce that. I'm not interested in raising more revenue to fund government. I'm interested in concentrating on returning to a reasonable pre-pandemic level of spending. We spent $4.4 trillion in 2019 prior to the pandemic. Then we went on a massive spending spree, borrowed trillions of dollars. That's what devalued our currency. That's what sparked 40-year high inflation. We never stopped spending. We never stopped borrowing. And again, no family, if they got an illness in the family, would borrow $50,000 to pay for medical bills. If that family member got well, they wouldn't keep borrowing and spending at that level. That's exactly what we did. So I'm insisting on us returning to a pre-pandemic level spending plus a process to actually achieve it. We've never had a process to control spending here in Washington, D.C. We don't have to balance our budget. The Budget Act, Simpson-Bowles, the Budget Control Act, none of these things worked. It's time to use a business person approach, and that's why I suggested this budget review panel where we start scrubbing the federal budget like DOJ did in looking at all these contracts. That's the way to do it.
Senator, I want to turn to this. We just heard from our colleague Edward Lawrence with the breaking news just from moments ago. You just said that rare earth minerals are one of the things that you want to see onshored. Well, how about this? We saw the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, announcing finally the signing of that U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund to help accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. Part of these conversations, of course, a big part would be those rare earth minerals. Just quickly, your reaction to that development in Washington.
It's a smart approach. I mean, focus on areas of agreement, economic development that can really produce agreement between Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. Let's do things that are in everybody's benefit as opposed to going to war over our differences. So I think this is the exact right way to go. I'm glad that they've concluded that agreement. I hope we can do some agreements with Russia as well. And then for the benefit of everybody, Russia, Ukraine, and the West, end that war, stop the killing, start redeveloping Ukraine for everybody's benefit.
Senator Ron Johnson, great to see you, sir. Always. Thank you. And you keep at it. You be that spending hawk. And hopefully you won't be alone on the island. God help us all.
I'm tenacious. Take care.
Yes, you are.